Hey, what is up, studs? Ryan here, or M&R Productions, and welcome to my review of what I think will be a lot of people's favorite 20th anniversary LEGO Star Wars set. This, of course, is the Slave One 20th Anniversary Edition, 1,007 pieces for $120 in the US. Is a bit pricey, but after you build this thing, some of the building techniques are just crazy good. I can see where some of that price comes in. That being said, you might be the type of person that wants to wait for a sale on a set this expensive, and that's okay too. The set number is 75243, and it includes 5 minifigures and 1 kind of minifigure. You get Boba Fett, 4-LOM, the exclusive Zuckuss, Han Solo and Carbonite, which isn't really a minifigure, and then the 2000 Princess Leia minifigure, the 20th anniversary collectible minifigure, so you get that in here too, which is a nice bonus. But let's go ahead and take a look at the back of the box. It just kind of shows off the features of the set. Kind of has a very beautiful Cloud City vibe to it. Very, very nice there on the landing pad and everything, and it's also going to show off the rest of the 20th anniversary minifigures down there, nice and big because it's on a big box. And then you also have a little bit about the original Slave One from 2000, and there you go. The instruction manual on this set is particularly interesting compared to other sets, and we'll get to that, but I'll first give you guys a quick view of all the stuff that they include in this set, just kind of, or the instruction manual, just kind of original information about the original Slave One there. And then of course you have some information on the new one. You can pause and take a closer look at that if you want to. Tells you all about the other 20th anniversary sets, a little bit more background on the original Slave One, or on the Slave One in general. Not too much info there. But more importantly, the most funny thing about the instruction manual here, I think, is step 186, 187, somewhere in here. And what you're going to see is that Lego done goofed. So you can see going from step 184 to 185, you see there's nothing on the bottom, nothing on the top there. You're supposed to just add 2 1x4 bricks. You add those 2, right? But also there is what you're supposed to add on the next step, but removed from the next step is what you added on this step. So Lego messed it up here on steps 185 and 186. Can you believe it? We'll see if this is fixed in future variations of the instruction manual, but as of now, if you buy this set, as far as I'm aware, you'll get the messed up instructions, which is kind of cool to have. And just for reference, about 20 steps earlier, you do the same thing for the other side of the vehicle, and it's not messed up here, so it's only on that part. Very interesting. The first minifigure we'll take a look at is Han Solo. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, they do not include the special dual-molded legs and the side printing that they had on the Cloud City version of this figure. On one hand, it keeps that figure exclusive to the very expensive set, but on the other hand, it takes away an opportunity to include it in a set, which is good and bad, again, just depending on how you look at it. He comes with a small blaster and looks really good. I don't think most people are going to care about that extra printing that he could have had on the legs and the dual-molded, which did look really good, but again, I don't think most people are going to notice, especially kids, which is who this set is going to be marketed to. Or actually, I mean, it is a Slave One, so adults are really going to want to get this too. But anyway, there's some nice back printing there. He has a nice looking face. If you take his hair off, you're going to see a second facial expression around back, which is very stern. So you just get a couple different faces on the figure. Nice figure overall. Zooming out a little bit for Boba Fett here. Very good Boba Fett. Pretty much the same as what we've been getting for the last few years, though. So if you already have one of the Boba Fetts from, I'd say, the last 5 or 6 years, this is going to be very similar to what you probably already have. Just very nice and well done figure, very refined, I guess. He, of course, has the helmet attachment on top, and then, or antenna, whatever you want to call it. If you take his helmet off, you'll see one facial expression, and if you flip it around, there's nothing. It's the angry clone face, which makes sense, because Boba Fett is a clone, or what's supposed to be a clone, or very close to a clone, except not really, something like that. I'm sure you guys are going to give me a history lesson down in the comment section below, but that being said, he has a jetpack on his back, and if we remove everything, including the very nice pauldron piece there, you do have some back printing which is hidden underneath that jetpack. I always like to complain about them including extra printing on the back when they know there's going to be a jetpack. It just doesn't make sense to me why they put the effort in, but I guess it's nice that they do put the effort in. It's weird to me why they bother. The 4-LOM figure is exactly the same as what we got back in 2017 with the Bounty Hunters Battle Pack. Unless there's some minute difference on the printing that you guys can pick out, I don't see any differences between this and the original version. It's still a nice figure, but it's not that rare, which might matter to some people. But yeah, very nice figure. Let's move on to the figure that I think most people care about in this set, though. That would be Zuckuss, and most people might not know why people care about this figure, and that's because of the minifigures on the bridge of the Super Star Destroyer, I believe, or of the characters, rather, the Bounty Hunters. This is the only Bounty Hunter that LEGO hadn't made made. And finally, we have a Zuckuss minifigure, and this is an excellent looking figure. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy being able to pick this one up and add it to their collection. It might be a big driving force for some people to go out and pick up this particular Slave one. I think it's an excellent looking figure. Love the printing all around. Obviously, a new mold for that headpiece there, but other than that, all pretty standard parts with just special prints, obviously. So very nice Zuckuss minifigure, of course, one of a kind, only in this set as of 2019. Our final minifigure in the set is the 2000 Princess Leia here, the 20th anniversary edition of her. She comes with the blue blaster. She looks just like the original version. She doesn't have a second face print because they didn't do that back in the day. On the flip side of her is a special marking, so you'll know the difference between this and the original. If you happen to have both and they both are in really good condition, then you'll be able to pick out which is which, so you get that exclusive print on the back there. Very nice figure. A lot of people are going to like this one. I think it actually fits well in this set with Han Solo being in here, so just having Han and Leia in the same set I think is going to be nice for a lot of people. So nice exclusive figure for this set. You can add it to the other 20th anniversary figures. I have them over there right now, but yeah, you can basically have all 5 next to each other. So pretty nice figure. Let's move on to the Slave one itself. Ours she blows, the new Slave one. It actually is a pretty well designed ship compared to the older models. It's a different philosophy for design compared to the older models as well. It's got a lot more technic going on in the interior, and I think we'll start with what I think a lot of people will agree is the most important new feature on the new Slave one, and that is located on the back of the Slave one here, and that's the handle. You can see the handle will just pull straight out, and you can hold the Slave one like this. This is way better than holding it here or holding it here as you would do on previous models. This handle gives you a very clear way to hold the vehicle and makes it way easier to swish it around and fly it around. Just very nice ease of use kind of quality of life addition to this set. It nicely folds up into the back side of the Slave one as well, so you don't even notice it. Like, it's one of those things that's so well designed and implemented that you really got to give the designers props. This really fits in nicely. Obviously, it takes away from a little bit of the design on the back. I dislike it for that reason, but I mean, I just think it's a very practical idea and it really fits in well. Usually you only see handles on like big starships or Republic gunship or the ATTE, but finding one on a vehicle like the Slave one is really surprising. It's just something I never thought I'd see, and yet here it is. There's a couple clips down here where I assume you can put on some bounty hunters' weapons there and just kind of store them there if you really want to, but I'm not really interested in that. I think the second best part of this new vehicle is this section here, where you actually keep the Han Solo and Carbonite. So if you want to lift up this panel, you literally just pick it up, and inside you're going to find Han Solo and Carbonite. With the flash on, you get a much better view. You can pull him right on out. You got to push him back and pull him out. If your hands are smaller, you might have an easier time than I do, but that is what Han Solo and Carbonite looks like. Still unchanged from the previous versions. My biggest qualm with that is the hair doesn't match up. It's a little bit weird, but you can take Han Solo and you can actually fit him in here with these clips. I'm not going to do it because I've done it a million times, but I think you know how that works. You literally just put his hands on there and he'll actually stay inside the Carbonite, which is kind of cool. Kind of like that, but not really. Just trying to give you the abridged version there. I don't want to waste too much time on that, but yes, the interior design with this in particular is very, very good. I love the way this is very smooth. It just folds right up and then it goes right down. It actually fits very nicely into the design there. Just a nice curve to it as well. So that's the whole section there. Up near the front tip of the Slave one here, we have these 2 different blasters, and they kind of spin independently of each other. They don't really do anything other than spin, which is fine. So I usually like to leave them there because that's the way they're used when in flight mode. So very nice. Trying to get them to just line up is important because otherwise they look a little bit wonky if they're off. So nice little design there. Now, if you want to pick the ship up like this, which is the way you used to do it, it's a little bit tedious because this is like a panel that moves, so you got to be careful. You can hold it like this because it's solid, but you can't really hold it like this because these move, and that's awkward. So just beware of that if you're coming from one of the older Slave ones. There's also a small sticker decal there, if you care about that. Just wanted to point that out. One of the cooler features here on the front, though, is going to be these spring-loaded shooters, which some people might think are a bit of a sore look, like they don't look that great. And if that's the case, you can just buy some extra panels here off eBay or whatever, or Bricklink, and you can cover these up. I'm sure you can modify that, but if you do want to shoot them, it's pretty straightforward. On the back side here, you're going to find these red things, and you're really just going to push down on them and you'll hear it shoot out. Or actually, I'll try to give you a side view so you can see it shoot out just like that. So pretty simple. Same here on the left side. shoots right out. So if you want to reload those, pretty straightforward as well. You just literally put the spring-loaded shooter back into there and it will click into place. So very nice feature there. You can get an idea for the general design. It's a little bit of a different shaping than some of the older Slave 1s. It's just the way they did it. They used some new pieces here. You guys can just take a look for yourself and you'll see what I mean. But they use these weird new pieces that give it a little bit of a different shape than some of the previous Slave 1s, which you might find to be good or bad depending on what your personal taste is. There's a couple more stickers here on the back side, or whatever, the top side of the Slave 1, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit convoluted which side is top or back or front or whatever. But moving to the wings, which are definitely the wings here. They are kind of independently moving of each other, but they actually move very well in sync with your orientation of the Slave 1, which is important because the reason they do that is so when they land, they are facing downward, which is nice. And then when you pick the thing up to fly it, you pull the handle out, they are still in that, you know, gravity is making them stay flat is the idea with that. So they usually work pretty well. You might have trouble with them. Sometimes they're a little bit stiff, but these seem to be working pretty well right now. Interesting color choice there right underneath this big green thing. I've never really seen that color on the Slave 1. I don't know how much I really like it, but that is there, and that's a thing, so if you want to color swap that, you definitely can. I think that's one of the worst parts of the design is that little bit of orange there. I just honestly think it looks weird. I don't know why they needed to add orange there. It's probably accurate to the movie, but I honestly think it takes away from how cool the colors on this set usually are with the sand green and dark red and light gray, and that's just like a fifth color that you really don't need there. Again, I'm sure that's accurate and that's why they did it, but gosh, I don't love the way that looks. Now, if we look into the cockpit area of the Slave 1, which is where I think some more interesting things are, you'll see you can pull the windshield off pretty easily. It's just one of the giant clear windshields, nothing different from years past. You actually have a sticker in there which shows the Slave 1 from the side, which is kind of cool, and has another couple control things. You have another control panel up above that, which is one that we've seen in many sets before, and then you have even another control panel on the other side, which just has a few more different bits and bobs on there. If you want to take Boba Fett and sit him in there, you definitely can. You just put him in a seated position. He fits right onto the studs there. It's a little bit awkward because it is like free floating, but once he is on and he is going nowhere. You can take our windshield here and it's just going to kind of clip into place. Kind of sticks into the top here with those studs there. Again, comes off and on very easily. Clips right into those studs there on the top. Very simple, straightforward. And if you're wondering why Boba Fett rotates with the ship, that is why. He moves all in one with the whole thing, the wings and everything. He moves too, so that when you're in flight mode, he's actually facing forward, which is nice. You can see I've kind of got him falling off the thing there, but then when you're sitting down or landed, he's kind of landed. So just kind of makes sense that way, and it works very well. There's nowhere else for the other minifigures to go on this vehicle. I guess you could fit Han Solo inside with his carbonite thing, but other than that, the other figures just kind of stay outside of the Slave 1. I'm sure you want to see this compared to some of the other Slave 1s, and I'm going to do a full-fledged comparison video, but let me bring over a couple others and I'll give you a quick preview of that. So this is obviously the Slave 1. We've been taking a look at this whole video, and here are all the Slave 1s I could muster together. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a full, complete comparison video, but I thought I'd give you a quick side-by-side of the newest Slave 1 with a lot of the other Slave 1s here. The 2010 one is the one that I think is most comparable to the new one, just because it's the same color scheme, very similar size-wise. I think that just makes it the most comparable, but obviously some very major different designs as far as like the interior and the way they did everything is concerned. There's obviously no handle on any of the other models. This one has the handle, which I think is the biggest difference, and, you know, quite a nice thing to have for playing around, honestly. A lot of people are comparing this to the UCS one because it is so similar looking to the UCS one, but it is way smaller. So if you want something for display, get the UCS Slave 1, but this is still a nice Slave 1 that you're going to be able to play with. So it just depends on what you want to use it for. If you ever want to play with it, you got to go for that one, but if it's just for display, the UCS one is going to be where it's at. So let me go ahead and give this Slave 1 a rating. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I know it's a little bit pricey, but other than that, I think it's a very well-rounded set, very well built, other than that weird orange there, which can't be found anywhere else, including the UCS one. I don't know why it's there, but it is. That being said, it's an excellent model with excellent play features and excellent minifigures. Like, the minifigs in this set are so good. Of course, people are going to want to pick this up just for that Zuckuss minifigure, I'm sure. But the Boba Fett, if you don't already have one, is really good, as well as Han Solo and Forlom and the Princess Leia. So you can't really go wrong with this set. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.